Hi guys, welcome to Didedi's Crafty Corner. Happy Wednesday, maybe? Okay, so I have gotten so many requests, emails, private messages, so many requests to show you guys how I made this background right here. Now I'm going to insert a picture right here of what it looked like before I ruined it. And then I'm going to tell you what went wrong, and then we're going to go ahead and make another one, or try to make another one. Okay, so my idea for this one is to have some fish, a fish scene, which I've colored some fish. I'm not happy with those either. They came out too orange. That's what the fish look like. They haven't been trimmed yet. All right, so I'm going to redo these as well. I'm going to keep these, but I'm going to redo them for this particular background. But this one I wanted to showcase these turtles on. So here was one of the backgrounds that I did. Really wanted it to look like deep in the water, and I think it turned out fantastic. So if I have enough time, I'll show you that one today. If not, I will show it on another day. This one is actually the easier of the two to create. Okay, this one on the other hand, the turtles turned out perfect. I mean, my idea was just like this. I wanted to have some little seaweed. I cut it out and didn't like it, so I went ahead and stamped it. It worked great, stamping it and coloring it, so that went perfect. I wanted one turtle here, I wanted one turtle here, and then I thought, you know, I should put a couple of those background fish in there, and that's where everything went wrong. Oh my goodness, I hate it. Absolutely hate it. So that was one of the things I thought I would come on and talk about. Is we always try to save our creations, right? We always try to do something to save them, to make them work. I cannot make those blackfish work. I don't like them. There's nothing really I can put on top of them. But with that being said, this is already on the card front even. It's already done, right? I will be disassembling this, and I will be using this top section on a different card. So I'm not going to be throwing it out. I will use this, probably with another turtle even, because these turtles are the bomb. Aren't they gorgeous? The turtles are gorgeous. All right. So now I need to make a new one of these. And since I had so many requests, and then I already knew I was going to be doing this weekend, and then I saw where Tina Kappa, who is one of my favorite people in the whole world, had also asked if I was going to do a tutorial on it. I thought, okay, I'll do it for sure this weekend, and then I ruined the card, so for sure it's going to be today. All right, so I'm going to cut through, I'm going to cut off for a minute, gather what the rest of the stuff I'm going to need, and I'll be right back to show you how to do it, or we're going to try to do it together. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, let's get started. All right, so what I've done is I'm taking a stencil. Now this one is the new one from My Favorite Things. It's the Starburst, I think. Let's see. It's not the Sunray. It's the Radiating Rays. Okay, so it's the Radiating Rays. There are all different companies that have a stencil like this, and I've got a couple of them. I just happened to use this one the last time because I had just got it in my, in the last order that I placed. All right, so we're going to use this. Now there are a few things that you want to remember. The first thing is that this is your line of water, so to speak, right here. So when your sunshine or your light source is coming down, this is always going to be super light. And then where this is covered up are going to be the light areas, and what you're putting on is the darker areas. You don't want those darker areas to be super, super dark. So you want to keep that in mind, and you don't want any harsh lines. So remember, when you come down to the bottom of your stencil, I usually only go partial way, and then it's a lot of blending. You've got to blend this out like crazy so that it doesn't look like you just stopped midstream. All right, so I'm going to start by leaving this white and going and sponging in a little bit of the tumbled glass. So I start with my lightest color, which is the tumbled glass. You know what? I'm going to move these little turtles way over here out of the way because I like them. And then I'm going to use one of my daubers. And for me, it doesn't really matter which one. And I'm just going to get a bunch of ink on here. And I'm going to start off my mat a little bit, just a little bit. And I'm just going to come in and I'm going to start applying this color. Now this does take a while, guys. It especially takes a while to get it. And then I'm gonna when I'm gonna do this part, then I'll be taking the stencil off because I don't want these lines. If you can see, let me move my water out of the way. You don't want to bring the lines all the way down to the bottom where you've got a harsh edge. That's what you're not wanting to do. So again, I'm going to come on, I'm going to go off, I'm going to make this even a little bit darker towards my pretend bottom over here. And I'm just going to leave this white. I'm not going to worry about that yet. That's going to be one of the latter things that I do. But I want these to be whiter coming down as well. So I want to build up my blues down here to make it lighter down there. Plus we're going to be adding some color. And I shifted my card. Poop-a-doop. All right, let me go ahead and grab one more piece of tape. We're about to take this off, but... And that's another thing too, is it really doesn't matter if everything's lined up perfect. It really doesn't. There's so much blending involved here that it's not going to matter. All right, perfect. And then I'm going to go ahead and move on to another color. Just across my bottom a little bit. And what that does is just going to help me when I go back in to blend the other blue to see where I'm going with it. Okay, and I'm going to come back in with my light color. All right, and then we're going to peel this off. All right, so there's the beginning of our rays. We don't need to worry about that little piece right there because we're going to be blending all of that out. Okay. So now let's go ahead and go in. I'm going to go ahead and start at the bottom and work up. I'm going to use my darkest color, which is Stormy Sky. I'm going to switch out my blender. And I mean, we're going to load this puppy up with ink. All right, and then with inky fingers, no less, we're just going to come in. And we're going to start building our background. Now I kind of already know because I do these backgrounds so often about where I want it to end with the dark color. And I may go in and actually even put in a little black. Okay. So then I'm going to come in with my... Do I want to go ahead and do my lightest color or do I want to come in with a little turquoise? Let me see. I might do a little broken china here. Do I have a piece of scrap paper? Yeah, I think I will. All right, so let's come in with a little broken china now. Same thing, I'm going to come in from the edge. I might have to get out my big broken china. This one may not have enough ink. And I'm just going to, in the middle, kind of fade out this darker color a little bit with a lighter color. And like I said, guys, this is still just the beginning. There's a whole lot of water and a whole lot of stuff that comes after this. So this is just building it up. But even if you just did that, right? It looks great. Now remember also, you're probably not going to use this whole big piece of cardstock. This is the actual size of a front of a card. I always cut mine down a little bit. All right, a little bit more, I think, especially right in here. But you can see how the rays just kind of are disappearing into our background, right? It looks fantastic. Okay, now I'm going to come ahead and start with some of the lighter color. And again, I'm just going to ink it up really good. Now you want to remember your light here. That's going to be, you want to come around in a circle, but you want to keep your light source really light until the very end. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and go right up as dark as I can where I got that little shadow right there, and I'm going to start blending out that shadow. Leaving my little light, my white source. And we're going to bring more of that white in when we add some water later. But my fingerprints are starting to get in the way here. All right, so you see how we pretty much lost that there? Pretty cool, huh? All right, so now I want to add a little more turquoise. Let's cover this up for a minute. I want to add a little more dark blue. I think we might add a little salty ocean. Let me see that. We might add just a little bit of salty ocean in there. Wow, look, I have some glitter in there. I'll tell you how I got that later on. Oh boy, did I do some stuff the other night. I was a hot mess, man. I've never been so inked up in my life. I went to town doing all different backgrounds with all my distress inks, and I learned something in the process. I do not like the distressed backgrounds. I don't like the chalkiness of them. I don't know why I don't. They apply great. I love them for all sorts of things, but for my backgrounds like this, I just prefer to have that pure color. Yeah, I can't really explain it, but every single one I did, I kept coming back to it, and I just didn't like the chalkiness of it. So then I started applying real distress ink over it, and I like that so much better. Okay, that's pretty. Now I'm going to come back in with the lighter color, the peacock or broken china, the turquoisey color. And blend that in. Good. Okay, I like that. Now what color? Oh, this one is the color I thought I might use. Let's try it. Just a little bit. Even though it has glitter, shimmer all over it. And it does. Pretty. I like that. All right. And we're going to come back in with our light again. Move this out of the way. And each time you come in with your light color, you're making it just a little bit darker, which is giving us a whiter area up here. And if I haven't mentioned it before, my little thing I'm using, I'm telling you guys, if you don't have one, you need one. I got it from Little Acres Creation. Her husband makes them. They're handmade. If you can see how wonderfully I'm blending here, and you guys, if you've ever done it, you know how hard it is. This takes the work out of it because you can grab it. There's no pressure points, guys. So I could literally do this all day long, where with the other ones, I would have to stop. I wouldn't be able to continue. Oh, that's looking good. I like that transition right there quite a bit. All right, now we are going to come in with some darker even on the bottom, and then we're going to start spraying it, and then we're going to walk away from it. I'm not so worried about this right here because, where I stuck my fingers, because I know that part's getting cut off for me. And then at the very last minute, before we spray it with water, we're going to go over it with this, just what's left of the sponge, and we're just going to color in that little bit of whiteness. All right? All right, we need darker. And I might actually... might actually add in just a touch of black. I mean, just a touch. Just around the edges. Yeah, perfect. Just to darken it up just a smidgen. That might have been a smidgen too much. Perfect. Perfect. Again, leaving a little bit of light source on the bottom here. Okay, so I'm just kind of picking and choosing where I want that black to go. That looks good. All right, now back to the dark blue. Now that I got black all over my hands, let me take a little second here and wipe some of this off. All right. Dark blue. What is this one? Stormy Sky. All right. Let's really get some ink on here. I know I'm shaking the table. I apologize, guys. And then we're going to come in right over that black again. I like that layer a lot. Okay, now let's come back in with just a little more, what did I want to use? Broken China? What is this one? Stormy Sky. So what is this one? Broken China. Oh, well, that made it super pretty, so we're gonna leave that alone. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty, right? But I'm a little surprised. Did I set that back over there? I must have, right? All right, one more time with this one. Again, kind of focusing on our circle there, our pretend little circle we have going on here. Smoothing out our rays a little bit. Perfect. And now we're going to come in with the lightest color, and then we're going to start the water. And this is where it can go downhill. Fast, guys, fast. When you start applying the water, you really need to know when to stop. And girls, I don't know when to stop. All right, let's go around here. Blend all that out. That looks super good. And then our very last stop is going to be one quick swoop right over the top. Just like that. All right, looks good. Okay, all right. Broken China, Salty Ocean, Stormy Sky, Broken China. Let me get all these lids on here, guys. Salty Ocean. Okay, all right. So that's the first part. And if you only did that right there, you're close. You see what I'm saying? Super pretty, right? Very, very pretty. But in order to get all this water effect, you've got to do that, of course, with water, because distress inks, they show through. You can pull it off with water. So that's what we're going to do. So I did it two different ways. First, I have two different spray bottles. I have this one and I have this one. So the first thing I did is I took this one and I took the water out. I'm going to move that turtle back a little bit further. And I just used the thing and I just made drops. Big drops, little drops, drops. Because that's the way it would be in water. And I let it sit there for a minute. Now I take my trusty old towel, because if there's other colors that bleed through, I don't really care at this point. It's going to look good. And then I'm just going to real quick sop it up. Just like that. I'm going to hit it with the heat tool, which would be a little easier to do if I actually already had it plugged in. Pardon my arms, guys. And I do heat it with a heat tool in between each process, all right, just so you know. Okay, by the way, this heat tool, I got it at Recollections 4 years ago, still working like a charm. I got it for 50% off. It was super cheap. All right, now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do littler ones, just like I did before, just using the little piece off of this. I'm going to let that sit for a minute. You could use a toothbrush, you could use the back of a paintbrush, you could use almost anything for this process. I just like to use the dots of water on the ocean scenes because I think it really makes it look like it's got bubbles. Let it sit for one more second. And then we're going to pick that up. You could also use a paper towel for this if you didn't want to use your trusty old ink towel, but I actually quite enjoy seeing all the ink on my trusty old ink towel. All right, we're going to hit that one more time. That looks good. All right, and then I'm actually going to spritz it with water. Do I want any more bigger dots? I think I'm good with that. All right, and then I'm just going to go ahead and spritz it from far away. Let it fall. And that's going to give us a bunch of little dots. I'm going to let that sit for a second. And then I'm going to dry that up. I might come in and put a few more big dots on there. I'm not sure. I'm really liking how these up here looking a little bit spread out, where on this one they were really close together. And that's how I got this really close together look, is by using the spray. I just sprayed it on there. All right, ready? Oh, that looks good. You see how we're starting to get the little ones? Looks super good. And then I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to let it sit for a second. That's going to look perfect right there. See how it's starting to lift some of the teals up now? It looks super cute. Perfect. All right, now we're going to dry that, and then I'm going to put a couple more big dots on there and call it a day. The other thing too, you need to remember when you're using your heat gun on your craft mat, you don't want to do it for long, and you don't want to hold it right down, because this mat will burn and it will warp. So you want to be careful when you're using it on your craft mat. Okay, so I do want just a couple more dots on mine. So I'm just going to go in and add just a couple more. I think that'll be good right there. So isn't that easy, guys? It's just all about blending. And I'm going to tell you, well, I've mentioned it before, and I've mentioned it tons of times in my videos, but if you're using, I can't even reach the other ones. Here they are. If you're using this or this, either one of these to do your blending, it's going to hurt you. This is a super hard wood. And I really, if you guys can use one of these, bless your hearts. I don't know how you do it, because they cut into me, they hurt me. I hated every second of it. This right here it's so light. Can you hear that? It's very lightweight. It's very smooth to the touch, and it's just gorgeous to work with. I love it. And it just it blends it out better. It just helps it to blend out quicker and better. I think also by drying it with the towel gives it a little more texture as well. Okay, I'm happy with that. All right, so what do you guys think? Super pretty, right? And then for the last thing that I did for this one, and I did it on this background too, you won't be able to see it. Maybe you can see a little bit. I shot it with some glimmer mist, some color shine, and then I let it dry, because I liked that it gave it a little bit of something, a little shininess. So I'm going to do that with this one as well. And then we're going to call it a day, and I'm going to stick my turtles back on there. And so then what I did for this one is I just took black ink, and I stamped down with my black ink the little seaweed right there, and I colored it in with my Copics. And it looks fantastic, and the whole process looked so great until I stuck those fish on there. So I'm going to do that same thing for this one, and it's just going to look fabulous. Let's just test it out right now. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Super, super cool. Super cool. This one has a little more turquoise up on the top. So if you were looking for more of a turquoise, that's what I did. I took that turquoise, the mermaid. Yeah, the Mermaid Lagoon. I just took it up a little higher on the sides, where this one's a little bit darker and a little bit lighter. Super, super cute. Super cute, right? All right, let me get it sprayed with a little bit of glimmer mist, or whatever this is called. How you swap color. What is this? Color Shine. And this is in transparent sheer. Transparent sheer. I got this at Michael's. I've never played with anything like this before. This is the first time, and I really like the effect, so we're going to go ahead and do that now too. But not on my turtles. And that's also going to give you a couple more little white spots. And I just think it's so pretty. I'm going to clean that up. I'm going to let that sit for a second, and then I'm going to dry up the big puddles with my trusty little paintbrush right here. So how I do that, see there's a couple of big spots here. I don't really want the big spots to stay. So I'm just going to take my paintbrush, and I'm just going to dab the big spots off. And I'm going to leave the little spots behind. And then I'm going to let it dry. Isn't that super cute, guys? Actually, I can dry it right now. Oh yeah, that is so pretty. Okay, There we go, guys. Isn't that gorgeous? Can you see the shine in it? It looks like a little jellyfish or something. It's so pretty. And that's how I did it. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to go ahead and get this card put together now before I ruin those turtles one more time. And that'll break my heart, and then I will show you guys the end process so that you can see it for sure. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Okay, guys, so here is the completed card. And this is, by the way, is the vision that I had for it. Exactly. So why I stamped those fish on there, I don't know. I'm not saying that the fish don't look okay. It's just not the vision that I had. And that's why I wanted to start over. And since I really needed to make another card and show you guys how to do it, the biggest thing I wanted to stress right now is that you're not going to get the same card even using a stencil every time. It's all about how much you lay down, the color blues you use. Any of the distressed blues together look wonderful, any of them. This was done with just 2 shades of blue, and look at that one. And I didn't use any blue on the white at all. I just left the white. So I mean, almost anything goes, and it just this one just has a couple of dots on it. It's just a matter of what you want to do. But if you use one of those stencils, which you could do this freehand very easy, but the stencils are so inexpensive, and it just makes it so much easier. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that I helped you in some way, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.